This moment is the culmination of why we started the school. These three awesome adults exemplify why it's so important to have a place that respects the students in their decision-making process at every age. And each of these three students have been at the core of making the school thrive. Sean and Dawn have been here since HSS was only in the planning stage. Felix came just a bit later, but has exemplified every ounce of that startup spirit. But before I talk more about these three, I want to take a moment and acknowledge where we are now and how we got here. Given the times we live in, this is no small achievement. When we came back from winter break this year, we were unable to celebrate a huge anniversary for the school, our 5 years of operation. We have now been in operation for over 5 years and are in our 6th school year. If we had had an event, I would have wanted to mark these few things. We started with 16 kids in a 1,000 square foot house that only had one bathroom. As someone who came into this as a volunteer, I thought it was optimistic at best and a little crazy. But it worked, and everyone who was there has really fond memories of those 2 school years. We then moved to a much larger building, and just as we got situated, the city flooded, and not just the normal annual flood we have here in Houston. For those of you who were here, Harvey upended all of our lives in one way or another. Yet, even with Harvey, we opened up the school with only a 1-week delay. A bit after this, Felix joined the crew, and him and his family worked their way into our community. It didn't take much time for it to feel like they had always been here. And then we had to move again, and during the school year this time. But we found a new location, and in just a short period, those who were here had a feeling like it had already been home. And with each move, our core family stayed with us. Thank you for that. Then COVID hit, and it's been tough in all sorts of new ways none of us could have imagined before. It cut an incredible year short. The week the school had to end in person, we had hit a milestone of 30 students. Finally, we came back from our hiatus as a smaller school, but with an unstoppable tenacity to be together. Where many would have shown frustration with all the challenges, we saw nothing but joy from our students to be back together and go right back to business. Navigating these challenges may have closed many other small schools, but HSS has managed to overcome all of this. Much of our ability to survive and then thrive has to do with the strong culture that we as a school have been able to forge since day one. Our students have taken ownership of the school and have continuously invested their time back into it. They hold real jobs that are necessary for our daily operations. And most importantly, they have made this school a warm and welcoming place for new students of all different backgrounds. Community is of the utmost importance in a school like ours. So much so that it can start to feel more like a family, where each member has an unlimited possibility to affect the whole. So I count myself as lucky to be part of such a phenomenal community. A lot of the strong culture has to do directly with how Sean, Dawn, and Felix have exemplified all the best aspects of our community. Their contributions have been invaluable, and without having them here role modeling these traits, this school would look a lot different. So let's take a moment to talk about these three, starting with Sean. A little hard to imagine now, but Sean was one of our quieter students when he started, a trait that quickly started to evaporate. We hit it off over our shared love of a couple of our favorite games, Backgammon and Magic the Gathering. Games we have played pretty much on the regular since the first year. Sean is both competitive, but friendly about it in a way that instantly makes other people want to join in. Sean and I have also served the school as JC clerk since the beginning. Essentially, this means overseeing every aspect of the judicial committee. In that time, he has helped to develop a building of a culture that is fair and empathetic, helped train literally every student who has ever chaired JC in our history, and had a hand in helping shape pretty much all of our rules. Even in his last few weeks, Sean has been helping to restructure the JC to make it even more equitable before moving on. Sean's involvement in JC, though, is just the tip of the iceberg. When it comes to his contributions to the community, just to name a few more things real quick that he's also been: a welcomer of new students, an overseer of chore, friend to all, our ongoing school meeting secretary for 2 years, maybe more, my personal proofreader, although I didn't have him proofread this speech, and someone who is always willing to help when asked. Although at least that last one actually applies to all three of them. Sean also got elected as the president of our assembly for the next school year, so I know he'll still be around at least for a little bit. Moving on to Dawn, who has also been an unstoppable force in this school since day one. We personally connected over all the usual things, like Magic the Gathering, trash talking during Super Smash Brothers, and our mutual agreement that Mike and Ike is the best candy. Some of my fondest memories of Dawn have been in our weekly movie watching sessions, where we got together and watched different musicals and rock operas, usually riffing on bad and obscure ones. I'm not very musical myself, but this has been one fun area where our interests have overlapped. It has been my privilege to witness Dawn's interest in music and singing develop in their time here, starting with the occasional piano tune echoing through the building, all the way up to full show tunes being sung on the regular. Dawn has also been a vital part of making the school consistently elevate itself. First, through their willingness to always speak up at school meeting, a vital quality when forging a community in the early years, and then with their role as one of our first student chairs of school meeting, and then later as secretary. This quickly set a standard for all future students when holding a position in the school to look up to. Only just this week, Dawn's youngest sibling, Daly, got elected as the school meeting secretary. The school would have been a lot less welcoming of a place without you. Officially, last school year was Dawn's last, but Dawn has taken this year to come and help as a volunteer. We have been incredibly grateful to have Dawn back. And next, Felix. As stated earlier, Felix joined us a bit later. Another one of those students who was a bit on the shy side, but always had an unbreakably optimistic attitude. He would eventually become a leader in the community. There is a certain kind of magic that Felix possesses. This magic allows him to connect with each member of the community in a truly genuine way, no matter what their age. You can see this in many ways throughout the day, be it discussing anime with one group, then playing video games with the youngest kids, showing someone how to use a computer as IT clerk, and finding ways to make new shy students come out of their shell. And then the next thing you know, Felix is leading a giant Nerf war that has almost every student in the school taking part. On top of all of this, Felix is also a craftsman and a creative, and I've had the privilege to collaborate with him many times. Felix, it doesn't matter that you're not a student. If you need tools, I'm here to collaborate with you. Just, you know where to find me. I'll always treasure the wooden dagger that we worked on together. You shaped the wood, and I burned the design. I'm telling you, Felix finds a way to synergize with literally everyone here. That's just part of his magic. And speaking of magic, if you haven't noticed a thing, we've also played a lot of magic together. What I love about being a staff member is how I get to engage with every student in a genuine way that honors who they are. Over the years, they have become not just students, but friends. Nobody here is a metric on a piece of paper. And at the end of the day, the most important measurement is how they view themselves. I am proud that they all view themselves as capable people who are ready to move on to the next glorious chapter of their lives. This is a small community, and the school will be profoundly different without them here every day. Yet I know it will continue to evolve and thrive because of the positive culture that they were integral in creating. As the world returns to normal, or at least a new normal, our school will continue to thrive and grow. And I thank these three for being every bit a part of its success.